Hey, what's up, guys? Thomas Edwards, creator and author of The One Up Effect, here to share with you the 3 reasons why it's so hard to be happy. So in my personal life, I struggled with happiness. I was depressed and wasn't really sure how to overcome it. And I realized that being happy can be really difficult. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. And this is why this channel exists. You see me talk about happiness and success and fulfillment all the time, but this wouldn't exist if I didn't notice within myself and so many of my clients and people all over that struggle with finding happiness and feeling that experience. So what are the 3 reasons that makes it so hard for us to be happy? Well, the first one is control. We want to control everything. And when we don't have control over things, it creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of unknown. And typically when we don't get the results that we want or that we try to control, it makes us unhappy. I personally experienced this firsthand. I want to control everything. That is what my ego wants to do. And the truth is, there's very little in this life that I can control. And once I was able to accept that, it made me realize that I was so focused on changing and controlling my life circumstances that I had no idea how negligible the impact of my happiness would be. And I would spend so much of my time, energy, and attention trying to change that. And what I found out was the solution is to actually shift my attention, my energy, and my time towards controlling my thoughts, my feelings, my behaviors. And this works in a cycle. And so understanding what we have control over and what we don't is a surefire way to increase your happiness. Speaking of control, the second thing that I feel gets in the way of our happiness is the media. The media is completely designed for you to pay attention to it, right? That's how it makes money. And how it makes money is for you to take action based on what it tells you. And oftentimes, if not all the time, the media is trying to tell you how not enough you are. And if you were to do a certain thing, get a certain thing, be with a certain someone, then you will be happier, right? This goes back to this first part of control. If you try to change your life circumstances, then you will be happier. And the media is all about trying to influence you to think that if you were to change your life circumstances that you would be happier. Media doesn't care. And I mean all media, whether it's mainstream media or even social media. I think social media is even worse because we always gravitate towards the life that we want and we see it through other people. But the problem is when we scroll and we see people living those lives that we want, we compare ourselves to those people and all of a sudden we feel unhappy. And so one way for you to overcome this is to limit your exposure to media that's constantly trying to tell you that you're not good enough and be present to where you are right now. As I've talked about, joy is the experience of loving who you are, why you are who you are, and where you are right now in this present moment. You can spend more time being in joy than being inundated with media that's going to try to convince you that you shouldn't be happy and thus do things that you may not want to do in order to be happy. And the third thing that I feel like gets in the way of our happiness is identity. We live in a world where, thanks to the industrial age, so many of us are driven to identify ourselves by our work. And we do so by how much time we spend on it. There are people who spend anywhere from 40 to 80 hours a week, and that is all they do. That is all they know. And oftentimes we focus so much on what we identify ourselves with, and then we measure it up to either our own standards or other people's standards. And of course, when this happens, when we play any type of comparison game, we end up being on the losing end and thus feel unhappy. At some point, we're not going to be working anymore. At some point, even when we check out and we clock out, we have our whole lives. And so many of us live that part of our lives totally lost, totally asleep, waiting to go back to work because his identity is so strong. And so this gets perpetuated throughout society. And of course, the media helps this. And of course, the pursuit of better life circumstances perpetuates this whole cycle. What actually makes you happy beyond just your work? Now, if work is something that does make you happy, that's great. And there are other dimensions to your life than just how you work. And for those of you who are unhappy about your work, what are some other things that you can do or do that make you happy, it's not really the things that you identify yourself with. It's really the emotions. It's really the meaning and the fulfillment that you get from those things that really create and define your identity over time. Like for me personally, I believe that what I'm doing right now is my life work, but this is not my identity. I can still walk away from the screen. I can walk away from my work and still feel really fulfilled in my life because there's so much I get to look forward to, whether it's my daughter, my wife, my love for video games, my love for checking out different movies, my love for learning, my love of watches and cars, all these things. And the emotions and the feelings and the meaning that I get from these experiences really define my identity more so than just what I do for work or what you may know me for. And so it's really important to really allow our identities to be spread across multiple dimensions as opposed to just one dimension, most notably being work. But this is what I think. I want to know what you guys think. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this. What about identity, media, and control can you relate with? How do those things get in the way of your life and the way of you being happy? And what are your solutions to overcome that? I want to know. And of course, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit that bell, get notified when we put out videos, which happen almost every day. And if you think this video is interesting, please share this with someone else who might feel this is interesting too. I want to hear what they think after they hear me. And of course, if you want to learn more about happiness, success, fulfillment, how do you make life a game, and all things in between, you can go to theoneupeffect.com. Once again, this is Thomas Edwards inviting you to make life a game that you can win and have fun playing. Until next time, I'll see you around.